Turn off the cell phone, moron.
Sorry about that.
Okay, people, are we ready to roll here?
One of the lamps is burnt out, Hank.
Don't worry about it, Rex. Just a gloomy atmosphere, more gothic, even better. Dickie, how's the sound?
I think I can hear a slight buzzing noise, Hank.
That's okay. It can connote, the buzzing of flies, decaying flesh, that sort of thing. Very spooky, very eerie. Great. Walt,
Yes, Hank?
are we in focus?
As near as I can tell.
Well, okay, people, let's get ready to roll in 5. Listen to them! The puppies of the night! What music they make! Thirsting for blood! Okay, cut. That's great. Excellent.
That was just great, Hank. Truly chilling.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rex. Hey, listen, you got your top hat? Because you're up next.
Hank, I think I saw the boom. You want to reshoot?
Well, listen, Walt, we got like 26 more scenes to do before lunch. I don't think so. You know something anyway? Audiences don't care about technicalities. What is it I always say?
It's the story that counts.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Meet Hank Yanker, an independent filmmaker who wrote, directed, and starred in over 300 movies. In the history of cinema, Orson Welles, Billy Wilder, and Alfred Hitchcock will be forever remembered as truly brilliant filmmakers. Hank Yanker will not. Hank's father, Frank, came from a family of circus performers known collectively as the Flying Yankers. His destiny seemed to be chiseled out in popcorn and cotton candy. But Adolf Hitler had other ideas. In January of 1944, Frank turned in his tights for a tunic and flared pants and joined the Royal Canadian Navy. He served aboard the HMS Impenetrable until it sank, leaving Halifax Harbor, after accidentally ramming and sinking its sister ship, the Indestructible. Frank's captain was quickly reassigned to Naval Intelligence, while Frank was placed on board the HMS Frank, which he took as a good omen. It was on this ship, while patrolling the English Channel during the D-Day invasion, that Frank Yanker received a near-fatal wound.
I'll never forget June 5th, 1944.
Excuse me, you mean June 6th?
I was just testing you. It was a warm day, 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds about 4 knots. It was a bit muggy, but not unpleasant. That is, until the shooting started. Oh.
Take your time, Mr. Yanker. Well, maybe not quite so much time.
Oh, yeah. My shipmate, Nobby Green, nice kid, knees like melons. He got hit by shrapnel, and when I bent over to help him up, whoosh, enemy shell hit and ripped my right buttock clean off. Talk about a bummer. I can laugh about it now, but I'm telling you, at the time, I was pretty miffed. The doctors there specialized in plastic surgery. Rudimentary though it was, still, I felt my bum was in good hands. What they did, They ripped all the skin off my forehead, and then they stretched it like pizza dough, and then they grafted it onto where my right buttock had been. And they hooked up a nozzle and pumped air in. And before you can say Jacques Cousteau, perfectly proportioned buttocks.
And no side effects?
Well, a few, but with Olga's help, I was able to deal with them.
Olga Buksak was a shy Ukrainian dancer who was entertaining patients when she spotted the back of Frank's head.
Because of my operation, I was lying face down. But when our eyes met, whoa, it was absolute magic. Besides, she was really built. Oh, no.
Frank and Olga were married 2 days later. And when the war was over, he took his bride home to Corncob, Ontario, Canada. After 12 years of trying to conceive, Olga finally announced that she was pregnant.
It was a miracle. My cousin George stayed with us that year, and he kept telling me, don't give up. Good old George. Give, 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 yeah. That was his motto.
Hank George Yanker was born in the back of the family Etzel on October 31st, 1958. He weighed 14 pounds, 8 ounces.
Olga could never look at a pumpkin after that. I was a happy kid, always laughing, especially when I run around with my pants off. He had a great imagination. He'd watch a show on television, and then he'd do the whole thing later, with his own little twist.
How so?
Well, he's seen Godzilla wreaking havoc on Tokyo, but he didn't want to be the hero.
He wanted to be the monster?
No, he wanted to be the buildings.
I used to babysit Hanky when his parents would go to their clog dancing classes, which was kind of odd because I was actually 2 years younger, but I was a very mature 6-year-old. As for Hank, well, he was a bit strange. You could see it in the eyes. He was an only child, and you know only is lonely without the L. Mostly he was quiet. Quiet! He was a little too quiet, actually. He'd watch TV. Or he tended to play with his imaginary cat, Errol. It was a Persian, I think. Was it Siamese?
Hank couldn't have a real cat because Frank was allergic and Olga smelled like liver.
Hank was terrified of mice, but with Errol around, he felt safe. But not me. I slept with one eye open because cats suck all the air out of your lungs when you're asleep, you know. That kid, I think he secretly wanted me dead.
But it was an imaginary cat.
It was the principle, damn it! Oh, this is so embarrassing. Oh, God, here I go.
Like many children, Hank would put on plays in his garage. Once Hank had raised enough money to buy a film camera, he began a career future critics would refer to as a complete waste of time.
The second I touched that camera, I knew what my destiny was. I'm sure it was much the same for Rodin, the first time he wrapped his limbs around a hunk of marble.
Many magical, mystical creatures lived in Herbert's garden, including Terry the happy elephant. Ooh, I'm so happy. It's so peaceful. But then one day, the nasty brothers arrived. Olaf was a right bastard who always carried a dead cooked turkey. His brother Sven carried a stick. He was a real prick. What can we do to hurt something? What was that? Terry had no idea what was going to happen. Ooh, trouble! There it is! Let's kill it! Oh, I'm trapped! I'm trapped! Ooh, I've tripped! Ooh, it looks like I'm saved! What the fuck? Ooh, ow, that hurts! Ooh, ah, the sun is shining! Life is wonderful!
Even at an early age, it was evident that as a filmmaker, Hank would stink.
When he moved into my neighborhood, we hit it off right away. First time I met him, I asked him, was it true his father had air in his ass? And he said, yup, and if we're lucky, it'll stay there.
Hank's only interest was filmmaking, until he went to high school and discovered the fair sex.
Hank was a rather charming young man. I remember an essay he wrote entitled High School, a Life Need or Just a Great Way to Meet Babes. I enjoyed it immensely. Very enlightening. I had to give him a failed mark, though. I felt it rather inappropriate for a math class.
And he brought over some circus contortionist named Glenda the Benda. Said he met her on a bus.
You have to remember I was an only child. I found girls totally mystifying. They were so different in shape, in manner, and unlike my mother, they never seemed to fart. I found that refreshing.
We went through all the rites of passage together. Our first drink, for instance. His parents loved liqueurs, so Hank used to siphon a little off each bottle. After a couple of weeks, he brought over a little Grand Marnier, some Tia Marie, creme de menthe, a couple of other things. I think Hank invented the B-52.
I began to suspect he was on drugs. Especially when he insisted I call him Mannix.
Hank spent most of high school whacked out on something or other. He really liked mescaline. Said even ABBA sounded good on mescaline.
I'd read Castaneda's The Teachings of Don Juan and Huxley's Doors of Perception and really believed it would help my creativity. And as long as it didn't affect my education, it was no big deal.
By the time he failed to graduate in 1977, Hank had been voted most likely to knock someone up and leave the country.
Well, failing high school hit my parents pretty hard. You know, my father never got past grade 4, and my mom was always embarrassed because she could never remember the capital of Bulgaria. But I told him, hey, I'm going into showbiz, so, you know, it doesn't really matter. And in fact, as you well know, being well educated can be a hindrance in showbiz.
So a young Hank Yanker packed up his things and his imaginary cat Errol and headed for that movie mecca, Hollywood.
I ran out of money when I got to New York. But it didn't get me down because I figured, hey, stuff happens here too. I just needed a green card so I could work. So I went to the Department of Immigration posing as a Vietnamese refugee named Wham Ping Pong.
But you don't look at all Asian.
I wore a hat. Anyway, I got a job selling fridges door to door in Hell's Kitchen.
Now, Pong was one terrific salesman, you know. There's nothing like that Asian work ethic. He could sell 5-6 fridges a day, I mean, and that was in January. He had what we call the gift of the gab. I swear, he could sell ice to the freaking Eskimos. Yeah, we were all real sad to see him go.
Back to pursuing his career, Hank enrolled in a directing course at New York's prestigious Showbiz Factory.
Anyway, I used to direct a lot in New York before I lost my eye in that freak hailstorm. Weather, huh? It's a bitch, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, I used to teach directing in those days as well, and Hank, he was in one of my classes. That'd be back in I distinctly remember one particular assignment that I gave to the class. I told them to pick a scene from any American writer and stage it. Now, you know, they, as usual, picked the usual suspects, O'Neill and Miller and Tennessee Williams, you know, but Hank, he picks a scene from an Archie comic book. Well, you know, I didn't say any American writer. Anyway, we had some incredible young actors in the class to do those scenes. I mean, some of them Many of them, they became huge, huge stars.
It was a dream cast. Fee-freaking-nominal. I mean, picture this. Sean Penn as Archie, well, that was a given. Demi Moore as Veronica, beautiful and straight dark hair. And how could you ask for a better Betty than Meg Ryan? You know, you just want to hold that woman and never let go. I mean, look up cute in the dictionary. There's her picture. Pierce Brosnan as Reggie, you know, the best-looking guy on the planet, but a real human, a mensch. You know what I mean? And I have to say this, Nick Cage was Jughead.
The scene was brilliant. In spite of Hank's direction. Hey, but don't get me wrong. I'm not bad-mouthing Hank. I mean, after my injury, he was the first guy to rally around. You know, he sent me some chocolates and a Where's Waldo book. It was hilarious. Hey, later on I found out that he kind of mixed up the presents. You know, he sent his godson a bottle of scotch and a suicide prevention brochure. But it's the thought, eh? Right? Right.
Burl is one of my all-time favorite people. I try to use him in my films as often as possible because he's a terrific actor, and he's also a great guy. Oh, I know he comes across as this big, gruff old curmudgeon, but when you get to know him, you realize he's actually a chronic alcoholic.
Hello? Hello? I've been getting crank calls all day.
But there's no crime in that, is there? I mean, if we locked up all the alcoholics, who'd star in sitcoms? And even though I'm predominantly known as a filmmaker, while I was in New York, I did dabble in television.
Well, there's a time back in the late 70s when Hank would come in every week or so to pitch an idea. I mean, all of them really, how do I put it, really stupid. Even for television. After the first Superman movie came out, Hank went on this superhero kick. God, there's one I'll never forget. Skunk Man. I mean, this guy who works at the fragrance department at Sears gets bit by a radioactive skunk on his way home from work. That's the guy coming home from work, not the skunk.
Yeah, I kind of figured that, yeah.
Well, sorry, I deal with a lot of producers. Anyway, after this guy gets bit, he discovers, how did Hank put it? He possesses remarkable anal prowess, which was a phrase I hadn't heard since my days in Thailand. Well, Hank had it all worked out. Even shot a pilot for it. I mean, he did everything, right down to designing the costumes. I mean, Skunk Man, he wore tights, of course, and had a small funnel sticking out of his butt. I mean, he would change from his secret identity, Tony Aroma, I think it was, by going into public washrooms, go huts, porta potties, that sort of thing. And his sidekick was named Johnny, also known as Number 2. Yeah, what is it? I'm kind of busy here. Okay, give me the pitch. 3 lesbians and a basketball player, lost in the Amazon. Well, it's edgy, I like it. Yeah, thanks, Mom. And Hank had, 3 dozen more concepts, each one more bizarre than the previous. I mean, Philippe, with the army of hairdressers, waging all-out war against bad hair. The Acne Kid, Captain Vomit, and the Urine Boy. Oh, jeez, I'm making myself sick just thinking about it here. Margie, cancel my 2 o'clock.
Television just wasn't my medium. So I went back to filmmaking. You see, I'd written this riveting script about a depressed clown who goes on a major killing spree. Originally, I called it Turn That Smile Upside Down, but Pippo Gets Nasty was more dynamic. The trouble was, as usual, financing. And just when I thought I'd have to pull the plug on Pippo, I got this huge check from my sideline, so I went ahead, made the film.
That's one sick, twisted bastard in there. How do you go from making people laugh to a major killing spree, Johnny? Don't make no sense. If the world made sense, Bill, we'd be out of a job.
So, Pippo. How's it going?
Whoa, easy, Johnny!
see he's just a harmless clown? So, killed anybody lately? Someday that'll work.
Cuff it up, freak! Come on! Give it up, young! Cuff it! Cuff it!
So what do you say, freak, huh? Listen, kid. We got 14 corpses on our hands. All of them burned to a crisp, sprinkled with confetti, and all sporting spongy red noses. We got 11 eyewitnesses that claim they saw a clown-like guy running from the scene of the crime. And we've interviewed Uncle Wiggily, and Danny Diggler, and even Flaky the Flatulent, and they've all got alibis.
I don't think he's done it.
He's got no noogies. Clown's got no noogies. Clown's got no noogies. Clown's got no noogies. He's got all the balls of a Ken doll.
I think we've got us a murder weapon. Nice work, Johnny. Come on, you.
Hey, Bippo. Don't do the mime if you can't do the time. Says you.
You said you had a sideline?
Yeah, I'd taken some of the fridge money and formed a company that manufactured designer condoms based on road signs. You know, we had the slippery when wet, the watch out for falling rocks, wide load, the dead end, also known as the cul-de-sac. Very popular with white trash.
So you made a lot of money?
Well, initially, sales were great, but then we had a huge problem. People started using them. Now, to save money, the manufacturers in Taiwan made the condoms with a mixture of rubber and paper, and we all know what happens to paper when it gets wet. Yeah, I think the population of Tennessee doubled that year. Anyway, it seemed like anyone who'd ever seen an episode of Perry Mason came out of the woodwork seeking financial compensation, and, of course, the head of Burning Rubbers.
Hank Yanker.
Wham ping pong. Still, the heat was on, so it was time to get out of Hell's Kitchen.
Hank returned to Canada, having heard that movies were being made in a place called Toronto.
One of the great things about Canada was, and still is, its weak dollar. Now, you can make 4 films in Canada for the same price that you can make one in, say, I don't know, Idaho. And Toronto as well has a very diverse ethnicity to it. You could set something in China, in Greece, in Italy.
Or Canada.
Oh, Canada, yeah, right. That'll put bums in seats. Anyway, the best thing by far about moving to Canada was meeting Mitzi.
Mitzi Reynolds, an expatriate American who left New York to avoid the draft, was the leading lady in many of Hank's films, and in his life, often.
I first met Hank when I was 21. I'm working in a burger joint in Toronto. That's in Canada. And in walked the most incredibly handsome man. And right behind him was Hank. Well, he couldn't take his eyes off me. So I said, get this, why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer. Anyway, Hank howled. He thought it was the funniest thing since sliced bread. Anyway, we got to talking, and he offered me a part in his next film, The Stench of Death, an homage to film noir. That's what the poster said.
What are you doing here?
I came to pay my respects to the grieving widow.
I'm too upset to grieve. Drink.
Heavily.
My husband used to enjoy a night game.
Yeah, he used to enjoy breathing, too. Things change.
I still can't believe he's dead.
I've seen a lot of dead people in my time, and believe me, he fit the profile. Lifeless body, eyes rolled back, tongue hanging out. All adds up to dead.
Hold me, Brick. I'm frightened. Can you stay the night? I've sacked the servants and I'm afraid to be alone.
I forgot my pajamas.
You can wear mine.
What'll you use?
My imagination.
There's a very graphic sex scene in that one.
Oh, yes, we rehearsed that for weeks. Hank could be a real stickler for details sometimes. Anyways, we were on the final day of shooting, and we're about to film the climax of the movie, that is. And everybody's in place. Elmo the dwarf, Buddy the loony, Harrison Ford. Oh, not the Harrison Ford. This guy spelled Ford with 2 D's. Apparently that's legal. Anyways, we're all there. Hank yells, "Action!" And then suddenly he walks up to me and slaps the handcuffs on my wrists and his. Well, I was shocked because, Elmo is supposed to be the killer. But then he says, "Get this, sweetheart, I'm gonna have to take you in for the rest of your life." Romantic, ain't it? Well, we got married that night and went to Niagara Falls for our honeymoon.
But the marriage didn't last very long, did it?
6 hours and change. I caught him stooping the chambermaid while I was tipping the bellboy.
I did my best to make it up to Mitzi, but she returned the fruit basket and said she never wanted to see me again. Unless, of course, it was on set.
So you continued to work together and, in fact, remarried. And then divorced again. Another chambermaid?
Flight attendant. I think her name was Kiki, or Ramona. Something Italian, maybe.
But then you and Mitzi remarried yet again.
Yeah, we were married 5 times. No, hang on a second. 7. That's, counting that weekend in Death Valley and the ride up the CN Tower, yeah.
In between your marriages to Mitzi, you married other women.
6, if you count the twins.
And for that, you became a Mormon.
Yeah, but it conflicted heavily with my innate atheism, so it didn't really last very long. In fact, none of my marriages lasted a particularly long time. I think the longest was to Fifi, yeah. But you gotta remember, we were stranded on a deserted island for 3 months, and as much as both of us wanted a divorce, the closest thing on that island to a lawyer was an orangutan.
I realized pretty quickly on that island that Hank was completely out of his mind. He would go into fits of rage for apparently no reason, accusing me of seeing someone else. It was a deserted island. I started to hate him. And there was so little food. Only coconut and mushroom. I cannot stomach mushroom. But Hank, however, he could not get enough of them.
Well, after a while, I realized that they were happy mushrooms, you know what I mean?
So you stopped eating them?
Oh, no. But it did explain the hallucinations. I no longer referred to the orangutan as Admiral Halsey. And besides that, it made for pretty wild sex with Fifi.
It was either Hank or the Admiral. It's a close call.
There was a real animal magnetism there. And sexually speaking, Hank was ravenous.
Well, I suppose I can say this now that he's dead. Hank was irresistible to women. I don't know what it was. The twinkle in his eye, that thick, straight hair, the tobacco-stained teeth with the direction of their own. Whatever it was, whenever Hank walked into a room filled with women, there wasn't a dry chair in the place. But I still hate him, with a passion.
He studied that Kama Sutra thing and actually came up with 11 new positions, all of them involving a blender. He often said that if the ancient East Indians had small appliances, the Kama Sutra would be a much bigger book. But book or no book, Hank was a demon in the sack, even after the operation. It was during our second marriage. Or was it the third? Whatever. Hank got the mumps real bad. His scrotum swelled up bigger than his head. Very disturbing visually speaking. It's a mental image I have never been able to erase. And it was also painful. For both of us, really, but mostly for Hank. He said it felt like his loins were being attacked by a sadistic beach ball. Anywho, he had to have one of his testicles removed. The left one, I think. Or was it the right? Well, whatever. When he recovered, he came back with a vengeance, sexually speaking. It was like, he felt that with one of his, nuts gone, he had to overcompensate. Well, I didn't complain. And in the long run, it was easier on my chin.
Hank made an amazing number of films, and even though the budgets were incredibly low, one had to wonder how he acquired the money to make them.
In the early days in the U.S., I used to rent cars and then sell them for cash.
Isn't that illegal?
Oh, highly. In fact, there was a time when I was wanted in 11 states, but now, thanks to the statute of limitations, I'm only wanted in one, so I just make sure that I don't go into that state, and, frankly, the odds of me making a film in California are what? Yeah. Anyway, when I got to Toronto, though, I found an angel.
I produced over 100 of Hank Yanker's films. Every one of them, an outstanding bomb. Can you say tax write-off?
I see, but what would have happened if one of Hank's movies had actually made some money?
Good one. Made money.
Hank, he was a real risk taker. I mean, take me for instance. He hired me when no one else would. He didn't look at my handicap as a handicap. He looked at it as a chance to prove to the world that if you really want something bad enough, you could get it. Now, you might not be good at it, but you could get it. He was real good to me and my dog Jake. But you wanted to hear a story. We were shooting this Western, High in the Saddle. The one about that drug-crazed cowboy, what was his name? Billy Bong. We were out in the country shooting some panoramic shots when someone noticed, I think it was Mitzi, that there was a plane in the shot. It sounded like a 747 or a Cessna. Anyway, most people would have waited for the plane to pass by and for the vapor trail to disappear, but not Hank. He said, let's keep it. It can symbolize his soaring sense of hopelessness. That was the brilliance of Hank. Give him lemons and he makes lemonade.
Well, there were a few problems with High in the Saddle. Well, with the limited budget I gave Hank, he couldn't afford any horses, and he only had one saddle. So Hank put the saddle on the back of an extra and kept the shot tight. Now, this worked fairly well until Hank used the spurs. Whoa, Nelly! Can you say lawsuit? Well, Hank gave the guy a couple of lines and a close-up. Lawsuit gone. Hank decided to ditch the extra in the saddle and mimed riding a horse. Badly. And then, there was the incident with the sheep.
Oh, yeah. The incident with the sheep.
I went to the location where they were shooting the campfire scene, just for a laugh. Hank was about to pull out the guitar and sing, manure is just a nicer word for shit. When he got to the yodeling part, he realized he was surrounded by sheep. Now, Hank was terrified of sheep. He wouldn't even allow wool on the set. He's screaming at the sheep that they're beasts of Satan, soul destroyers, and a few other things I wish I didn't remember. Anyway, we're standing around, stunned and a little scared because, Hank hauls off with a Bowie knife and starts slaughtering the sheep. He kills about a dozen of them. Well, the guy who owns them is screaming blue murder. He's threatening to call the cops, the SPCA, animal rights groups, Lord Cardigan. Well, Hank settles down enough to placate the guy.
Don't tell me a couple of lines and a close-up.
You got it.
Well, we sure ate well that night.
We'll find water. I know we'll find water. Trust me. I know the heat's getting to us, but hang in there, girl. We'll make it. Nothing but desolation. Whoa. Whoa, Omar. Well, we gotta find some water, boy, I know, but we will. Trust me. There's a good one. Whoa, simmer down, simmer down. And then we'll get to Laredo and find the McAllister brothers. And if we're lucky, maybe a little blow.
One of the wonderful things about Hank was his enthusiasm. You know, it was infectious. Some people said it was a masculine, but I think it was just his nature. Once he started something, he wanted to finish it, and finish it quickly. He always said, if you can't be good, be fast. And fast he was. Oh, people talk about the legendary producer Roger Corman shooting Little Shop of Horrors in 3 days. That's nothing. Hank shot Slugs from Your Anus in an hour and a half. It was a 2-hour film. Hank had this knack for time, spatial distortion in post-production, and he just loved slow-mo. His short film, The Sandwich, is a prime example of just how long you can drag something out.
Slices of life. Fry, fry, fry. God knows all, tells very little. Do vegetables have nicknames? My bank account is low. My friend Buzzy is high. German philosophers call this Mittagessen. We call it lunch. Questions. Life's secret is a secret.
The main problem with the sandwich isn't the sandwich as such. I mean, after all, who doesn't enjoy a good BLT now and then? No, the sandwich is fine as a sandwich. But as a film, well, it's like having root canal done without an anesthetic. You just keep thinking, will this excruciating pain ever end?
Ah, yes, the sandwich. I don't know why, but the critical reaction to that one really hurts. I mean, it's not like I'd never gotten a bad review before. I mean, just a couple of weeks earlier, when Who Stole My Slippers opened, it was universally panned by critics everywhere. And, you know, I knew that Slippers was innovative, and perhaps shooting everything from the knees down was a bad idea. Yeah, I don't know. But the sheer bile and maliciousness directed towards the sandwich, well, it got me right here, you know? I mean, I felt like somebody had grabbed my lone testicle and squeezed it with all their might. You see, there was a lot more to the sandwich than just bacon, lettuce, and tomato.
I believe there was also mayonnaise and seasoning.
You're missing the point. You see, the sandwich was a metaphor. It symbolized the coming together of all races, creeds, nationalities, be you Arab, Jew, Catholic, Protestant, Muslim, hockey player, whatever, you know. And in that coming together, that slice of you, that strip of me, that glob of them, that sprinkle of us, it forms something more than just the basic food groups. Ultimately, it's something that's vibrant and fulfilling and full of life.
But then the sandwich is cut in half and eaten.
Well, isn't that what we're doing to ourselves? To this planet? I mean, the mayo, that symbolizes the blood of humanity oozing out, and it takes a hell of a lot more than a paper towel to clean up that mess, I'll tell you. You know, you saw the sandwich, but you didn't see it. And neither did the critics. It was just too deep. There were too many layers. Perhaps it would have been better if I'd chosen a club sandwich. It would have been more obvious. Jeez. Interesting sidebar. You know what I was doing when I got the idea for the sandwich?
You were making a sandwich?
I was getting my hair cut. You see, I went into the stylist and he said, how would you like your hair? And I said, short, which got me thinking. That's kind of how I think, you know, like the reel of an old movie projector, you know. started thinking, hey, whatever happened to the short in the cinema? And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to single-handedly bring the short back to the cinema.
Well, Yanker single-handedly killed the short film in the cinemas. Well, to be fair, it was almost dead anyway, but with The Sandwich, he hermetically sealed the coffin shut.
Now, for all his ineptitude, Hank was really a genius, even in his own way. You know, I mean, he always had an angle, a hook, a new idea. I mean, he was either 15 minutes ahead of his time or 20 years behind. But you got to give him this, he was inventive. Take, for example, when he got the Shakespeare bug. He decided he was going to do one of Shakespeare's most difficult pieces, Hamlet. But he was going to do it differently. He was going to do, and get this, a completely silent version. People said, hey, Hank, are you nuts? And I was one of those people. I mean, what was he thinking? Silent Hamlet?
Well, my thinking on Hamlet was this. What makes a good story? The story, right? It's not the words, it's not the height of the actors, it's not a Rosenblatts or a Gilderstein. It's the true essence of the story itself that reaches out and grabs an audience by the short and curlies.
But here you have William Shakespeare, the most eloquent English playwright of all time, and you use none of his words.
Oh, no, you're wrong. I used his words, symbolically. And after all, what are words anyway? They're just things that people use to get the point across. And maybe you've heard, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you break my film down frame by frame, I said a hell of a lot more than Shakespeare ever did. And I didn't have the benefit of growing up in England.
But Hamlet takes place in Denmark.
Yeah, I know that. And England's a hell of a lot closer to Denmark than North America is. No, I made a Hamlet that is true to its source.
You changed the title.
Well, you know, I thought that Hamlet sounded a little pretentious, a little too much like, you know, Shakespeare. And quite frankly, the average North American audience, well, would rather have a barium enema than sit through Shakespeare.
There's Nothing Like a Dane was a stupendous failure, universally panned by critics and the movie-going public alike as utterly idiotic.
I still get nightmares when I think of Yanker's Hamlet.
Well, I get nightmares when I think about any of his movies, frankly. But a couple of them, you know, like, oh, they are just so bad, they really stand out.
Oh, yeah.
For instance,
Some Like It Cult.
Boy, I tell you, that I would put that one at the top of the list of truly, truly awful Yanker films.
And it's one hell of a long list.
Some Like It Cult was Yanker's version of the Jonestown tragedy.
I'd seen a rerun of the TV movie starring Powers Booth and was totally taken by it. And his performance in particular, brilliant. It was powerful. The entire film was frightening, mesmerizing. But, you know, it lacked something. This bothered me for the longest time. Then one night, after chewing some peyote and knocking back a quart of tequila, it suddenly hit me. Songs. That was the missing ingredient. Songs, yeah. It was quite the epiphany.
I remember Hank calling me up. It was, I think, 3 or 4 in the morning, and man, was he pumped. You know he was a mescaline freak, eh? Well, he used to call me up a lot in the middle of the night, so I figured this was just another of those, there's a 12-foot cockroach in my kitchen kind of calls. He was terrified of insects. Anyways, once I finally caught on to what he was talking about, I was pumped. A musical on the whole Jimmy Jones thing. It was outrageous, audacious, pure Hank. He came over right after he called me with a bag full of Doritos and a head full of ideas.
The road to salvation isn't found in this nation, where freedom's just another word. We bow to the dollar, wear an oppressive collar. Society stinks just like a turd. Come on and join me
Jones, oh yeah, I'll release your spirit and skin your bones. Haven't you heard? It's not so absurd. What else rhymes with turd? Let's see.
Yeah, you know, after seeing that film, I seriously consider going back to my first love, taxidermy.
You know, people think it's easy being a movie critic, watching movies all day, but I'll tell you something. For every Taxi Driver or for every American Beauty, there are 100 Weekend at Bernie's.
Or Armageddon. You know, I mean, truly bad movies that make money, but boy, that Yanker movie, that really took the cake.
I mean, as I watched it, my skin literally crawled.
Oh, yours just crawled. You know, mine went into a shoebox and hid for a week.
Wow, I've heard of people talking turkey, but chicken?
You never know how people are going to react to satire, especially in North America. Now, Europeans, they get satire.
Hank took the $8,000 left over from his $9,000 budget, left Errol with Mitzi, and moved to Europe in the hope he would be appreciated there. He wasn't.
Apparently, I've been universally blacklisted thanks to cult. The British film community wouldn't speak to me, the French pretended they didn't understand English, and the Germans were downright hostile. The Germans! So I ended up in Hungary. Well, I fell asleep on the train and woke up in Budapest one day. Well, at first the authorities thought that I was a spy, but luckily János Kadar, he was the leader of Hungary at the time, he happened to be a fan of mine, and somehow he'd seen my satire on Big Business. Naturally, he figured I was pro-commie, which I am definitely not. Anyway, he asked me if I would stay and make propaganda movies and light comedies to cheer up his people. Anyway, my first film did very well, actually. It was called Drek Koil Dadron Spudi, which is Magyar for Are You Sure These Are Potatoes? Anyway, he let me do some of my own scripts in English.
Be careful. There are a few things more dangerous than a huge, freaked-out chicken.
Oh, Hank was a breath of fresh air. Huh? So, because people in Hungary not very much happy for 50 years. Nazi scum invade, then for decades we are cope with the communist bastards. So, when Hank and Yankee spirit show up, it was colonic, if you're saying so. So Hank and I are spending much time together. I show him sights, and he teach me art in making movies.
How's your German?
Ich habe eine Forelle in der Hose.
Good, because you're going to Vienna. Your cover identity is that of one Hans Jodler, an Austrian ski instructor. You'll be meeting our man in Vienna, Fritz Dibler. He'll let you know how you can contact ex-KGB agent Ivan Dubček in Prague. It's our belief that Dubček knows the identity of a madman, known only as Ted, who plans to cause World War III, which we believe could be as bad as 1 and 2 combined.
Dubček? I hear you have some very important information for me. Oh, wait. Okay, here's something. It's nothing, just a tourist.
You should be heavily armed.
I prefer to use my wits.
Ciao! I'm the rhinoceros!
Curb your natural urges to hump every woman you meet.
Jodler. Hans Jodler. Du bist sehr sexy. Danke. Du bist sehr sexy. Danke. Danke.
Well, remember, you've got the fate of the world in your hands.
Don't sweat it, Chief. Lance Boyle is on the case. All hell's breaking loose. I can't stop it! I can't stop it!
After wall come down, communism crumbles, Hungary free, Hank take me and Chimnas to America. So I am very, very happy.
Hank returned to America with a new friend, a new bride, and a new identity.
My thought process was this. In America, I'd be taken far more seriously if I were a European director. So I adopted the persona of a Hungarian director named Laszlo Bupkis. You know, I could have pretended I was French or Italian, but, you know, people are familiar with those accents, and some Americans actually speak the languages. So I felt posing as a Hungarian was a safe bet. I mean, really, who speaks Magyar?
Babutnik pan Hank, nibbelflame dewey in script. Plecco in lingua talamuter hagadibo. It tiddlewinkle done first in black and gregel, dippy dippy doing, doing. And Mickey Gleedo. Right then I knew that I wanted to move to America. Been slicing at Budapest, dig bestseller, Penfulik on New York. Pitsonia, me splits, dark enough noggin, neck hertic. Nick me crap yellow doobie.
The important thing was that Laszlo was being taken seriously. I sold him as having a social conscience, and even though most of my films are purely for entertainment purposes, I have tried on occasion to be the voice of humanity. Well, remember the sandwich. But you see, films like My Left Foot or Rain Man, you know, dealing with debilitating diseases, they can reach people who otherwise wouldn't give a shit. So I thought Laszlo should do a give a shit film. The trouble was, all the good diseases were taken. But I did manage to find one that had touched the lives of millions, though nobody else had touched it at all. Good thinking, I thought.
Jones?
What's the word, Doctor? Will I live?
Yes, but...
But what? But what?
Your life will be a living hell. You have psoriasis.
I'm not sure I understand you, Doctor. I had a public education. What does psoriasis mean?
It means you'll spend the rest of your life scratching your head wondering how normal people get by. In other words, my boy, you have terminal dandruff.
You mean I'll only ever be able to date ugly chicks and foreigners trying to find a way into the country?
I'm afraid so. Would you like to borrow my gun?
Yes. But a part of me says no.
The part in your hair?
A deeper part. A part that says, hey, don't give up now. They've cured cancer, haven't they?
Well, actually, they haven't.
No matter, whatever it takes, I will fight for the few that feel the folly of the flaky follicle, those of the scratchy scalp, those unsung heroes who never did anything wrong except succumb to a disease that, like syphilis, should be a personal responsibility instead of a freakish biological error or a horrible family legacy.
You're too brave.
No, Doctor. I'm just a human being who's tired of walking into a room and saying, no, it's not snowing out there. I have a problem.
Yeah, whatever.
Predictably, Laszlo Bupkis fared no better than Hank Yanker.
It was just bad timing, really. The disease of the week thing had pretty much run its course, and I had a terrible time spot. I mean, how could I compete with Major Dad and Who's the Boss? Quality programming like that. I mean, let's face it, the fat lady sang before the show started.
Has it ever occurred to you that you might just be a tad insane?
Well, you know, the sane, not sane issue has come up quite a bit throughout my life.
I'm not sure I should be discussing the intimate details of a patient, but what the heck is that? Hank Yanker, Volume 1. Yeah, shoot.
So why did Hank come to see you, Doctor?
Well, like most of my patients, he was quite simply cuckoo. He had phobias up the yin-yang, and not the usual phobias either. We're talking really wacky stuff here.
But yes, I've heard about the mice, the insects, the sheep.
Merely the tip of the iceberg. Hank was also afraid of ballpoint pens. The complete works of Chopin. Small boys named Phil. Unflavored yogurt. For some reason the flavored kind didn't bother him. I found that intriguing. He was also terrified of the Pillsbury Doughboy, elbow skin, the word conundrum. The list goes on and on.
Hank discarded his Laszlo Bupkis persona and returned to being Hank Yanker. The difference was negligible.
We're not gonna make it. We're gonna die. We're all gonna die.
Don't talk like that, Rufus. We're gonna make it. We're all gonna make it. Right, Sarge?
Sure, kid. And pigs will fly.
See, Rufus, what'd I tell you?
That sounded negative to me.
Tell him it ain't so, Sarge.
I wish I could. I truly, honestly wish I could, but let's face it, we're done for.
That can't be true. I got a girl waiting for me back home.
I know. She's my daughter, remember? You know, I used to think you were a totally useless knob, but you've proven to me that a guy who I thought as a totally useless snob could in fact be a man of character and substance. It's just a shame that our impending deaths have led me to this conclusion. Be it.
Well, wait a sec. If one of us rushes the enemy strapped with explosives, the others can probably live.
What do you think, Sarge?
It's crazy. It's preposterous. It's outrageous. It's ludicrous. But it just might work. The question is... It's like I always said, you just can't trust a narcoleptic. Good luck, kid.
Tell Candy that when I went to face that ugly Nazi horde, I was thinking of her.
I never had a son. But if I did, I'd want him to be just like you. Well, maybe a little taller and, ears not so big, but...
I hear you, Dad.
Ah, shit. Now, Rufus, listen. I'm going over there. I want you to take Johnny, carry him to the river, then head north. There's a farmhouse there, with a plastic duck in the window. Ask for Pierre. Say, où est la plume de ma tante? And wink seductively. He'll know what to do. All right, kid. Good luck.
Sarge!
I'm coming to get you, brutal munching bastard!
Sarge!
Ow!
Oh!
Ah!
Oh! Jeez!
Ow!
Oh!
Oh!
Yeah!
Oh!
Oh!
Ow! Oh! Oh!
Sarge! Sarge!
Oh, Johnny, you came marching back to me.
Candy, my darling, I'm afraid I have some bad news.
I know. I just got the telegram. It was terrible news. That guy sure was a good singer.
Excuse me, ma'am. I just want to give you the hand of the bravest man I've ever known in my whole entire life since I was born.
And you are?
The man was a prince.
And that's coming from a king. But seriously, Hank had a vision. Unlike his cameraman. I'm just kidding, Walt. But I was the star in 25 of Hank's films, mostly action stuff, and some of the semi-erotic romantic comedies of the 90s, you know, like Smelling Like Ginger, You Get the Dumpy One, and Three Sailors and a Dinghy. But I was in all the classics. Hank was an actor's dream director, like none I've ever worked with before.
Well, what other directors have you worked with?
Well, none. But my agent says my resumes are out there, and it's just a matter of time. And I believe her.
What made Hank a dream director?
Oh, 2 words. Freedom. You see, Hank thought, much the same way that Hitchcock did, that actors were paid to act, so they should act accordingly, without interference. That's verging on clever there.
Not really.
He's a hell of an adequate actor, really. Takes direction like a pig takes to slop. You know, it doesn't matter what you ask him to do, he'll do it. Sometimes before the camera is even rolling. He's that eager. Anyway, one day I decided to just see how far I could go with him. We were shooting this pirate film. Anyway, there's this scene in a tavern where Mitzi throws a drink into Rex's face. And, you know, Mitzi is a pro when it comes to throwing drinks in people's faces. And she got it was perfect. First take, right? But we got her to do it 57 more times.
Hold, wench! Show me your doubloons! How's that, Hank?
I think we need another one.
Okay. Show me your doubloons!
Nah, sorry, lighting was off.
Hold! Whoa, wench! Hold, wench. Show me your doubloons. How was that?
One more.
I will do nudity. Not that I'm desperate or anything. No, Rex King's doing just fine. Thank you very much.
Hey, De Niro! You think the dishes wash themselves? Get your hairy white ass in there!
Gotta go. My ass isn't hairy. Really.
He's got the smoothest ass I've ever seen on a man. Very, very disturbing. I mean, is it natural? Does he shave it? Has the stress of showbiz made it all fall off? The hair, you know? Quite the poser. But, you know, not the kind of question one guy asks another guy, so I guess we'll never know.
I've dealt with a lot of fruitcakes in my time, and the first place one looks when dealing with the mentally deranged is childhood. You see, a multitude of zygotes are in actual fact a cry for help, a yearning to be heard, which is incidentally the title of my latest book, also available in paperback. The Hank's problems began as a result of being the youngest of 5 boys. They were constantly vying for their father's love and approval.
Excuse me, Doctor, but I've researched Hank extensively and spoken to his father at great length, and Hank had no brothers, no siblings at all.
Really? Oh, son of a... Note of the film script. Protagonist is now an only child. Well, that really throws a wrench into the works, doesn't it?
You're in all of your films. Is there a part of you that wants to be center stage?
No, not really. It's just that it's a lot cheaper than hiring another actor.
But you never paid your actors.
True, but I always provided lunch.
And, by not hiring another actor, if there was a way that I could save my wife, whoever it was at the time, the trouble of making another sandwich, then so much the better.
Baloney.
You mean Hank was lying?
No, it was always baloney. Baloney soup, baloney sandwiches, baloney casserole. Do you know, I don't even think baloney is the real meat. I mean, what animal does a baloney come from?
Well, for every Bruce Willis making millions, there are 1,000 Ralph Smiths making squat.
Who's Ralph Smith?
We'll probably never know.
People might say you've taken advantage of actors.
Gee, that's never happened before.
Taken advantage of? I don't think so. For most actors, it's not the money. It's a chance to show the world what we've got, to stretch our emotions, to bare our souls, and if need be, our bodies. Hank insisted I be naked throughout the entire film. He explained it to me in great detail. My character was insecure and craved attention, and what better way to get attention than to be naked? And he felt that even though you couldn't see my body, the vulnerability of my nudity would be read through my feet. He was a very deep man.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love actors. They're so, what's that word? Starts with G?
Giving.
Gullible.
From 1992 to 1998, Hank made 87 feature-length films. Each and every one a turkey of monumental proportions. Of these, only one survives today.
I got off the train to buy some dental floss and it left without me.
I'll take you in.
Gold.
Rubies.
Plutonium.
I love you. I love you. Kill him. Kill him.
You dropped the gun. You dropped the gun. No, you dropped the gun.
The soft,
Drop the gun. No, you dropped the gun. No, you dropped the gun. Drop the gun.
sweet,
Drop the gun. Drop the gun. No, you drop the gun. You drop the gun.
and juicy.
Just drop the gun. I'm not gonna drop the gun. You drop the gun. First, you drop the gun.
And pulpy.
Drop the gun. Drop the gun.
You're not getting it.
Where's the elephant?
Where is the elephant?
Don't look in the trunk.
It closed Boxing Day. Hank went into a deep depression. I knew it was serious because 3 whole weeks went by and he did not make a single movie. And to top it all off, Errol, his imaginary cat, died.
Actually, the truth is, Errol committed suicide. I kept it out of the papers. You know, looking back, all the signs were there. The lack of appetite, sluggishness, those lingering what the hell's it all for looks. I guess I just couldn't see the forest for the trees. Mind you, he was old, going on 211 in cat years. Still, it was a shock to come home and find your pet, your oldest and dearest friend, floating face down in the kitchen sink. You know, I wouldn't wish that on a performance poet. At first, I figured it it had to be murder. You know, I mean, Errol was a devout Catholic, so murder would make sense. But then I found the note. It was pinned to one of my socks. All it said was, meow. I mean, for a creature with such a small brain, that was incredibly pithy, don't you think? I mean, break it down. Me. Ow. You could hear the inner pain. Well, I tried to replace him with other imaginary cats, a calico, a Manx, but it just wasn't the same.
All right, and I must assume that Hank's phobias then were a result of the 3 years he spent in a prisoner of war camp in Vietnam, because the time and hell that he's...
Excuse me, Doctor, but Hank was never in Vietnam.
You're pulling my leg. All right, let's cut to the chase then. Was his fiancée trampled to death by a wild rhinoceros?
No.
Did he take a bullet in a bank hold-up?
No.
And I assume then he never had a fist fight with the Pope?
But the upside, I guess, if there is one, to this tragedy, was that as a form of solace, I took up Tai Chi. I feel it's enriched me. It's centered me. The meditative aspects of it alone have allowed me to create a calm sphere around me, away from the maddening crowd of showbiz. It's made me a kinder, gentler Hank Yanker.
I knew Hank had gotten into this whole Zen thing, so when he called me up at 3 in the morning, I was a little surprised. Naturally, I figured the cockroaches were back. But no, he had a new idea. Lou Velvet.
Lou Velvet became Hank's alter ego, a lounge singer with a cavalier attitude and a kilo of gel in his hair. It was yet another facet of the complex mind that made up Hank Yanker.
Hank had always been a good singer, and a lot of his movies had songs in them, so it was a natural procession.
Hi there. This is a special message to all you people out there who are, have been, or know someone in prison. That pretty much covers everyone, doesn't it? Well, I'm offering you, for a limited time only, a special collection of my songs of incarceration. Lou Velvet, From the Joint.
Oh, the Birdman's pecker is loose again. Gonna fix your goose again. Flew the coop from Kingston Pen. The Birdman's pecker is loose again. From the back, you look just like my girl. Gonna kill my lawyer, gonna stick him good. He's gonna be a dead man like a lawyer should be. This heat's oppressive, something's gotta give. Trade you 4 smokes for a 5-inch shiv. They call him Solitary Larry.
I wanted to give something back to those people who've taken so much from us. And I think with this CD, I have succeeded.
What's that scent like fried bologna? That smells like Tony. Cheech wants you should dance with him. Have some romance with him. Pull down your pants with him. Yes, Cheech wants you should dance with him.
If you only buy 1 CD this year, you don't get out much. Do I have to kill you? Huh?
You're purty.
Also includes the destined-to-be hits Left-Hand Love, In for the Long Stretch, I Didn't Do It, Wink Wink, and the Dance-tastic Tomorrow We Hang, Tonight Let's Party. And if you act now, you'll receive absolutely free this bonus CD, Lou Velvet Sings Songs for the Aging. A Very Velvet Sunset, including Incontinental Journey, Mr. Fuzzy Ears, Forget About the Kids in Europe, Let's Talk Euthanasia, Do I Look Fat in This Moo-Moo, and many, many more, including the poignant ballad,
Kill me. Place a pillow across my face and just kill me.
I truly believe that if you're old or in prison or both, you'll cherish these CDs as much as I cherished making them for you. And if you call within the next 6 minutes, I'll throw in a genuine metal corkscrew, because I know that old people are lonely and tend to drink a lot, and if you're in prison, this puppy just might save your life. So please, call now and tell him the Lou Man sent you.
Don't have a credit card? Well, no problem. Just send $20 US cash to Lou Velvet, care of Hank Yanker, Post Office Box 666, Station 1, Ottawa, Canada. And in 4 to 36 weeks, you will receive this phenomenal CD collection along with a genuine, completely metal corkscrew delivered right to your door. Don't delay. This incredible offer is only available while supplies last.
I think we sold 8, which is just 2 copies short of going gold in Canada.
Hank was a multi-talented man, you know, super creative. His brain was full of those, whatchamacallit, endorphins that are always going off. Which reminds me of an article I read in a magazine once. It seems that we all have a left brain and a right brain. Now, the left brain is the serious side. It tells you, how to put your socks on and accounting and stuff. Whereas the right brain takes care of all the creativity things like writing and art and, making up good excuses for when you're late. Well, it is my huge belief that Hank had 2 right brains. And I'll bet if we could dig him up and hack his head open, I could prove it.
So, he never really suffered any troubles at all in his life.
Well, apart from the loss of a testicle and being shipwrecked, I guess not.
Shipwrecked? Testicle? Got him. Himmel. Note to agent. Postpone meeting with DreamWorks until further notice.
Is the therapy helping?
Not really. But it did inspire my psychodrama.
How is he today, Nurse Lovelace?
Oh, better, Dr. Cronin. He only tried to commit suicide twice.
Must be that new lithium. Still, any attempt at suicide is never a good thing. Perhaps I'd better have a word with him. I understand we're feeling a little bit under the weather today.
It's the rats, Major Fluffy. They've stolen the cheese. No matter how hard I try, they keep stealing the cheese.
There, my boy, there. Yes, we still have plenty of cheese.
The cheese! You saved the cheese.
Why is he so obsessed with cheese, Doctor?
It's a very tragic story, my dear. He saw his mother crushed to death by a cow. And now he's obsessed with all dairy products, particularly cheese. It's very sad. He could have been one of the finest concert pianists in the world. Now no longer to play a Bechstein, thanks to a Holstein.
Show Me Your Nuts did for the dairy industry what Marathon Man did for dentistry.
I'd like to point out that in all the history of dairy farming in this country, only 6 people have ever been killed by milking cows. And all of those, without exception, forgot to warm up their hands before applying them to the teats.
So overall, how do you feel about your career?
Well, I have no complaints, really. I mean, I've done what I wanted to do, make movies. And I've made 323 feature films so far.
And they've all been outstanding failures.
Whoa, wait a second. There's a big difference between being a failure and being unsuccessful.
How so?
Well, just because some people think that my work stinks...
Not some people. Pretty much everybody.
There, you've proven my point. Pretty much everybody, not everybody.
I must admit I had a soft spot for Hank. He had energy, pluck, and a relentless love of cinema. Unfortunately, he didn't have any talent. He worked so hard to make his films fly, but as we all know, turkeys just don't fly. Still, every year we show one of his films to our students. It's a perfect example of how not to make a movie.
Well, I just hope that, 600-700 years down the road that history is kind to old Hank. I mean, after all, I never killed anyone.
Only their careers.
Only their careers. That's funny.
So where does Hank Yanker go from here?
Forward, my friend. I'm finishing up the editing on my latest film, Nosferatu. It's a horror flick about a vampire who's allergic to blood.
A comedy?
No. Anyway, the point is that there are many, many more films inside me. And I just want my fans and the world to know that you have not heard the last from Hank Yanker.
Sadly, that was the last anyone heard from Hank Yanker. 10 minutes after this interview, he was dead.
The day Hank died, yes, I remember it well. I was having some aesthetic surgery done to remove the crow's feet around the eyes. Anyways, the nurse came running in to tell me what happened. Well, I wanted to burst into tears, but the doctor advised against it. We all thought it would be the cigarettes that killed Hank. We thought he'd get, lung cancer and fade away like an old pair of panties. Who'd have thunk he would have been run over by a beer truck on the way to the smoke shop? It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Hank loved irony. And, of course, blowjobs. I'll miss him.
Whatever one might think of Hank Yanker's films, and from consensus that would appear to be very little, he did create a volume of work unsurpassed by any other movie maker. True, they may have been dreadful, but most films are. It's just rare to attribute so many to one man. He may not have been very good, but he certainly was fast, and he had passion.
Go back to the hell that spawned you.
Oi!
There we are. A tad messy, but rather effective.
Do you know what this means, Lulu?
Yes, Johnny. This means that now we can get married and have children and not have to worry about them turning into pets as such.
Ah, youth. Still, a lovable old codger like me can't complain. I still got my health and a jolly good grip.
Do they not know? Chopsticks cannot kill a vampire! I'm alive! Undead! But alive! Alive! Alive!
Kill me. Place a pillow across my face and just kill me. Hide my body, don't leave a trace. Kill me. dig a hole down in the basement and fill me. Don't forget just what my face meant. Kill me. But don't tell the government that you killed me. Spend my pension till it's spent. Kill me, and this life of misery, and please kill me, 'cause the grandkids, they don't thrill me. Kill me. I'm sick and tired of living, so kill me. See you soon.